Hey guys, welcome to this session by Intellipaat. Deep learning and artificial intelligence have taken the world by storm, right? Well, with new technology comes beautiful applications, and deepfake is one of these applications that created a lot of headlines back in the day, and it is still doing so. Not just headlines, there's a good amount of controversy with deepfake and using artificial intelligence for it as well. So I'm sure you guys are curious about what deepfake is and how it is used, with artificial intelligence, right? So on this particular deepfake with artificial intelligence video, you will get a lot of insights about what deepfake is, how it works, and where it is used. And of course, at the end of it, I'm gonna have a demo for you guys where I'll be demonstrating how you guys can start working, on your own deepfake videos as well. But then, guys, before we begin with this session, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so that you'll never miss any update from us. And now, without further ado, let's dive right in.
Coming to the first point of the agenda on this deepfake with AI video, let's ask ourselves a couple of questions. Have you ever come across YouTube videos which doesn't make sense? Like there's a person talking, the voice doesn't match, or it doesn't seem like it's that person who's talking or something like that? Or have you come across one person who can, do 20 celebrity impressions really, really well? And in fact, it feels like it's the real person, but then at the end of it, it's not. Have you come across videos like this? And it's just not this. Think about watching a video or content somewhere where something is not right about the audio and the face of the person as well, right? So the person can be talking something, the lips can be doing something else, but then the audio that's coming out is very, very different. It's almost like it's not in sync, or it's not the same audio with the same person, right? So take a moment and ask yourself these questions. I am pretty sure that at one point of time you might have come across content such as this, right? So why did we even pick that up? Well, let me tell you, if you have had such encounters, there's a very good chance you've had an encounter with a deepfake video. So what is deepfake? Well, deepfake is a concept in artificial intelligence that derives its name from two very important things. One is deep learning, and secondly, by making use of artificial intelligence, we produce an entity that is in real, not present. So you will understand this further, when we actually discuss the next couple of sections, because at this point of time, it is very important that you understand that neural networks are very, very powerful in today's world, especially. And if we can make use of neural networks to, let's say, replace a person with a picture or a video. Let's say you can have, an image, a video, and you can start playing around with it in a way where it's, in real it would be impossible, but you can make it possible by making use of artificial neural networks. So that's a pretty good thing about deepfake. So even though it might not exist in real life, you can achieve the same effect by replacing a person in a picture or a video with someone entirely different, and make it possible, make it seem very, very, very realistic as well. That's one of the very important workings of a deepfake. So you might have a question saying, okay, well, how does deepfake work? You have to understand that there's two primary concepts that govern the working of deepfake. One we called as GANs, and the other one what we called as autoencoders. When we're talking about GANs, it's a short form for generative adversarial networks. So it's a part of deep learning, it's a part of neural network that is very important to figure out, because if you're watching this video, I can guarantee you that in one place or another you have used a product that uses GAN, right? So what we're trying to do with GANs here is that we're trying to generate data completely from scratch. We can create images that haven't existed before, we can create music, you can create videos, you can create a lot of things with data that actually does not exist. So it means creating it from scratch, right? So where have you come across GANs? Think about anime characters, right? Well, there are multiple tools online that will help you create an anime character without having to have any data to support it as well. You don't have to have a person's face to create an anime anymore. So you can have artificial intelligence networks actually create an anime from scratch for you. And then filters, right? So we've used a lot of social media tools where we upload a lot of pictures, and there we made use of filters to have a certain effect on us. You can change the color of your eyes, you can do a lot of things. You can basically, it's a huge world, right? The world of image editing and filtering, and it does it live as well. So that's another use of GAN. The third thing that you might or might not have noticed is in the clothing line, especially. So if anyone of you have an offhand experience with apparels, you will have a good idea. So you can see a picture there with a person wearing a jacket. Now, what if I just want the picture of the jacket and not the person himself or herself? Well, with that, yes, it's possible. The image on the right is actually a product of GAN that uses a lot of images that's present on the left to actually extract just the jacket and to produce an image like that. So in the world of branding, in the world of clothing, this is a very, very important thing. And then I'm sure all of you Apple users, iOS users, you might have come across the face emoji, the memoji, or whatever it's called. You can turn yourself into an animated character basically, right? So how is this done? Again, it's done by making use of GANs. And at the last image, you can see that there's a picture. There's an original picture and a deepfake picture. Now it's very, very convincing, right? If you've never seen this person in real before, there's a very good chance you will not know what she looks like. Is the one on the left the original one? Is the one on the right original one? And we had to mention specifically for you to know, hey, okay, so this is an original image, and then this is an image created by artificial intelligence, right? So thinking about all of these, the application of these generative adversarial networks is beautiful. So to talk about how they work, it's basically a game theory concept, right? So it's a scenario which involves game theory where we have two networks that are competing against each other. We have what we call as a generator network, and then what we call as a discriminator or the adversary. So what the generator does is that it generates new examples that we have from the problem domain, and it actually keeps generating these new examples and keeping the data ready, and it keeps pushing out data. What the discriminator does is it actually classifies the example as either real or fake. If it's real, it means that it picked up the data from the domain, or if it's fake, it means that the data was not picked up from the original one, that the data was generated from scratch. So when the generator goes against competing with the discriminator, right, that's the result that we actually get is the entire concept of GAN that we're talking about. It's a really fun concept. It's amazing to work with, and it has so many different applications as well. And then when we talk about the second thing that's used in the working of deepfake, it's autoencoders. Well, autoencoders are again artificial neural networks. They're unsupervised artificial neural networks that have the capability to actually understand how to compress the data, encode it into a format which may or may not be used directly, and later, of course, it is used to reconstruct data, or what we call as the process of decoding it. So why is this even done? Well, let me tell you again. If you're thinking about, have you ever used autoencoders? The answer is absolutely yes. Sometimes wherever we have to upload certain documents, it'll say document size is too large and you have to compress it. So we compress images, we compress PDFs, we compress a lot of things, right? So how does this compression work? Well, autoencoders. And then think about denoising images, right? Especially if you guys are photographers, or if you have had a chance to click a beautiful picture in low lighting or something, the image will be pretty blurry, the image will have a lot of noise. But then there are tools that will help you easily remove just the noise and preserve all the original details of the image, right? How is that possible? Again, autoencoders. And the third image that you can see, of course, you can animate yourself pretty easily. It's very accurate. It's really fun to use. And of course, it's pretty popular these days as well, right? So we have an online persona that we hold, and especially there, it's a beautiful tool as well. So, if you've not directly used it as well, understand this. Autoencoders are very powerful tools, very powerful neural networks, and pretty much whenever you talk about anything neural network, right, there's so much above the scope of even our discussion, because I can give you 3 or 4 applications that are very popular, but understand that behind that there will be 40 other applications that are pretty powerful as well, because at the end of the day, hey, it's artificial intelligence, right? Now, thinking about autoencoders, where you might have used it as well if you are a little technical, right? So the image that's shown on your screen is basically how the autoencoders work. We have the input data that comes in, we have an encoder, and we have the encoding code. After it's been coded, again, it has to be decoded. So it goes from input, the input gets encoded, and after being encoded, it gets decoded, and we have the final output, right? It might be compression, it might be enlarging, it might be denoising. There's a lot of applications of autoencoders, as I mentioned. Now, there's two main types of autoencoders, right? There's traditional autoencoders and we have denoising autoencoders. Of course, you have sparse autoencoders as well. But coming to traditional autoencoders, think about having your songs stored as an MP3. What do you think this MP3 is, right? It's a coded form. It's an encoding format that is used to store music. Well, autoencoders are used for that. And then think about having to use WinRAR or WinZip or any of these tools to compress and zip your files together into one particular entity. Well, traditional autoencoders. And then talk about denoising images, right? As I just mentioned, here is a popular data set, right? It's the MNIST data set, and that's the letter S that you're seeing. So you'll have a noisy image, and an autoencoder will have the capability to find, the image amongst all the noise, remove the noise, and of course, give you the denoised image at the end of it as well. So when you think about the noisy image directly compared with the denoised image, it takes a lot of skill even for the artificial intelligence entity, even for the neural network, to actually learn to find the noise, remove it, and make sure that there is nothing in the original image that is destroyed in doing the process as well. So as I just mentioned, coming to how deepfake works, now that you have a quick introduction to what GANs are and autoencoders are, well, we have two things that is very important in the case of deepfake. One is existing media, and the second thing is the source media. See, existing media and source media, you will understand amazingly well when we talk about the demo. There's a demo at the end, so make sure to stick around. So basically, we have two input medias, and we have these two concepts of autoencoders and GANs that work hand in hand to provide us with content for deepfake. So what happens is that we might already have photos, we might already have images, we might already have music or videos as well. These videos are used by our GAN network autoencoders. There's a lot of data that's used, and at the end of it, we will create a new content that was absolutely not possible to exist itself. So you're creating something from scratch, which in reality can be a possibility or not a possibility. But at the end of the day, it is very real, it looks very convincing, and it is pretty fun to work with as well. And of course, at the same time, there's a lot of concerns as well, which I'll be covering too. So whenever we talk about, the actual working of deepfake, again, here we have two machine learning models that are put into place, right? One we call as the forger, the second model we call as the detector. So these models work hand in hand to actually give us a deepfake result. See, the ML model one that we have, the forger, will actually have access to all of the data. It will learn on the data set. And one very important thing is that whenever you're showing images, videos, or audio to your forger, larger the data set, the better the learning. That is how it goes. So it keeps creating deepfake videos until a point what we call as choke point. So after these forgeries are created, the machine literally needs to understand if it's real or if it's fake, right? That is where the detector comes into the picture. What the detector does is it keeps checking for forgeries that's created by ML1. So it keeps going through the videos, it works in a loop, and it tries to understand if it can figure out the real deal from the fake videos that are being generated. If it can detect a fake video, it means that there is a choke point that has achieved. And that, if your ML model 1 is very, very good, and if your model 2 cannot discriminate from the original and the fake itself, then that's a pretty good deepfake video. So this is how, two ML models work in coordination with each other in a very simple fashion to make sure deepfake works. So where is deepfake used, right? Well, let me give you a lot of usage of deepfake, but as I told you, there's a lot of concerns as well. See, one very important thing is that you can edit a transcript of any video that exists to alter the words that's literally coming out of someone's mouth. this is not appreciated a lot in the world, because you can do a lot of bad and you can of course do a lot of good as well. But at the end of the day, if you're changing the literal words that's coming out of someone's mouth, making it very convincing in a way that the world sees as if the person itself said those words, then whoa, that will lead to a lot of wrongdoing as well, right? See, this is one bad thing. The good thing is that, let's say you want to become your favorite singer. You want to have a karaoke impression with your metal singers on stage. You want to listen to Taylor Swift, you want to play with Adele, or whatever is that particular case. You can actually put your voice onto their face, or you can use your face and their voice, and you can have a very nice, very fun karaoke impression session as well. There are karaoke bars across the world which are actually implementing this, and they're charging you money for it as well. So it's a pretty simple solution, as you'll see in the demo, but at the end of the day, people are making money out of this, and it's definitely something worth to look at as well. The second thing is we have to talk about Mona Lisa, right? See, Mona Lisa is a painting. Look on the left, Mona Lisa is mowing. How is that done? So yes, so deepfake is used to edit facial expressions and make it very, very photorealistic in a way that it is pretty hard to believe. See, this is one bad thing, right? You can bring your portraits to life. You can use just images to bring back, old people back to life and make it look realistic as well. It's a pretty cool concept. It's a beautiful concept. But then it can be used for a lot of wrong things as well. There are multiple industries where things can go pretty wrong, right? But then let's talk about the good side again. You can dub audios for movies in different languages, and you don't have to have the actors shoot the scenes again. So let's say, the shooting has already been done. The voice actors are already, mouthing all the lyrics of the songs and all of that. Now, if they want the same thing in Telugu, of course, the audio will be different. It will be recorded by a person who knows Telugu or Tamil, for example. In that particular case, you have to really think about, the realism, right? When you're watching the movie, you realize that the actor is a Hindi actor, but the track that's going on, the audio that's playing is not Hindi. So the lip sync will be very different to the actual thing. But guess what? With deepfake, all they have to do is record once in one particular language, and they can use deepfake to actually change the lip movements in a way where the person can be seen to be singing in the new language as well, even though the person actually isn't. That's a beautiful usage of deepfake. And then, the most important concerns we have to talk about whenever we talk about deepfake is the misuse, right? See, in today's world, three things are very, very important. Your safety in the cyberspace, your privacy, and your social life. Deepfake can lead to a lot of cybercrime because, as I told you, you can literally change what the person is saying, and no one will ever know that the person actually said it or not. So it can lead to a lot of confusion online. And if powerful people's opinions can be swinged around like this, well, again, that leads to chaos, right? And then, of course, privacy invasion. If you have a picture or video of you online, it can be used for deepfake. That is how concerning this technology is. Well, at the end of the day, it's not always talk about bad sides, but you should be aware of this if you're working on this, right? And then talk about social manipulation. Your entire social image can be changed, and it can be swung around as if a person who's into cybercrime chooses to do it, because at the end of the day, you might say you like apples online and you've recorded a video saying that. Now, a deepfake video can be created right on top of that and say you absolutely hate apples no matter what. Well, now that's a pretty concerning thing to think about, right? Especially if you're into a lot of social media, if you're a powerful person. If you think that your opinion will have a lot of good or bad things to do with people, then really, really important that you understand this, right? So as I just mentioned, the most important concern is that if you have a video or a photo online that's public, that can be accessed by people who might misuse your data, that is all that it takes to create a deepfake video, as you'll just see. But then, do we have a solution? Yes, Adobe, in fact, is one of these companies alongside a lot of other companies who are working on an AI-enabled tool that helps to detect deepfake images. So it will actually take an image, analyze it, and it will give you the probability of manipulation that might have been involved from the creation of the original image to the manipulated image as well. So it uses the concept of heat maps to do all of this, and it's a very powerful tool as well. So it's not just Adobe. There's a lot of other people now that that they understand that there's a lot of concerns with deepfake. See, it's a very powerful technology that can be put into very, very good use. But if it's pretty easy to do, then a lot of people will want to try it, and not all of these people might have good intentions, right? So it's very important that you keep this part of deepfake secure as well, and keep it authenticated at the end of the day. That's it, right? So yes, there are tools that will help in detecting deepfake. So if you're really concerned, do not be worried about that. And now you might have a question saying, how do I spot a deepfake video? As I told you, there's three very important points that you need to check about. One is audio video synchronization, right? The person can be seen lip syncing something else. The audio is very different, the video is very different, and it really doesn't make sense of what the person is saying. If that's the case, there's a good chance that's a deepfake video. Not always, but yes. The second thing is the shape of the mouth, right? As I told you, the person can be saying something, but the shape of the mouth, how the mouth moves for every single syllable that we say is pretty different, right? So in that particular case, if it doesn't look right, if the person is maybe closing their lips to let's say something like sa or something, sa requires you to open your mouth, right? So there you can easily catch a deepfake video. And the third thing is robotic subject movement. I'll show you this in the demo as well. It will look very convincingly real that the person is saying something, but at the end of the day, it somehow looks robotic, it somehow doesn't look real, it somehow looks that it's architected and orchestrated as well. So at that particular stage, you will see this in the demo, but understand that this is how you spot a deepfake video. So now coming to the demo part of it, right? So let us discuss a very important research demo. So it's basically an implementation for the research that's called as the first order motion model for image animation. It's created by the people that's shown on your screen. These guys are researchers, so full credits to them for this particular piece of code into the demo as well. So when you're thinking about deepfake, on how you use it, what's required to actually work on deepfake, understand that you'll require knowledge of two things. One is working with Python, working with its libraries. The second thing is having an understanding of neural networks, having an understanding of GANs, having an understanding of autoencoders, having an understanding of how to use these with Python, how to work with image libraries, and a lot more as well. But it isn't as complex as it seems, as I'll show you in this particular demo. So let me quickly open up my Google Colab sheet. This is basically a Python Jupyter notebook hosted on the Google Cloud platform. So in fact, they give you a lot of processing power for free as well, right? So when you're thinking about that, you really don't have to work on installing Python, installing all of these libraries that's used and all of that. So all you have to do is go to collab.research.google.com and you can get started with your own sheet as well. Of course, we're going to share this sheet with you so that you guys can get started and work on it. So to begin with, let's quickly go on to clone the repository. As I told you that this is from the research dataset, right? So after we clone the repository, we can start eventually working on it as well. So what we try to do is, first let's create a folder in our particular Jupyter notebook environment, and then of course we're going to have to need the data, right? So we're going to need the training data. So let me quickly authorize it with my Google Drive, where I have a couple of data sets, the exact data sets that's used in the research case, and then ping it here as well. So to do that, I have to enter the authorization code. So I just put in the authorization code to map my Google Drive onto Google Colab here as well. So this is basically the folder that contains all of the data, the images and the video that you'll see. And we just brought it and imported it from our Google Drive. And next, now we have to load our source image and video, right? So to work with images in Python, we use this particular library called as image.io. It's a beautiful library that's used for working with animated images, GIFs, videos, and moving images, and a lot of other things as well. So what we try to do is to simplify things, right? See, whenever you're rendering a video or whenever you're changing anything with images, it takes a lot of processing power, especially from the GPU. So in that particular case, you can have a very simple deepfake demo that will run for 10 hours to just learn and to, start showing you output. To avoid all of that, what we try to do here is we try to resize the image and video to a very small resolution in a way where it doesn't really require a lot of processing power as well. So let's quickly go on to load all of our source images, videos, directly from our Google Drive that we just mentioned. we are compressing it into a size of 256 cross 256, so that it makes it pretty easy for us to work with there as well. And in fact, here is a sample from our particular data set. You can see President Putin on the left and President Trump on the right? So we have an image of President Putin, but we have a video of President Trump. Now, as and when we are going to work with these videos, you will understand all of the concerning parts about data science. So as and when we start working with these, right, you will start understanding the concerning part about deepfake as well. So let's actually create a model to start with. Let's load our checkpoints, and checkpoints are basically places that are visually helping the neural network to map the data across the images or the videos, and to basically teach it to understand as well. So we can create the model, load the checkpoints, and we can tell the model that, hey, this is an image, this is a video, this is what's moving, this is what's not moving, and this is basically the first, machine learning model that we're checking out. So it's going to take probably 1 or 2 minutes to create the model and to load all of the checkpoints. And after that is done, in fact, as I was just speaking, that actually got done. Now, to actually animate it, right? So this is original. This is President Trump talking. This is President Putin's photo. Now, if I go on to use a concept called as a relative key point displacement, you will see that there is a video that gets generated, from the model. As I told you, it takes a while. It takes a lot of processing power as well, right? So all of this is running on the GPUs of the Google Cloud platform. Now, after it's run, you will see a very, very interesting video output here as well. So, right, give it a second and it will present you with the output. So it basically creates an MP4 video for us, and it shows what it can do. Well, look at this. All we have is an image of President Putin, and we have a video of President Trump. This is what the model created for us, right? So President Putin is not talking here, but then artificial intelligence is used to make President Putin talk. Well, now think about all the ways people can either use it for very good things or misuse it, right? You guys are getting the idea. And I haven't used a lot of code to actually get here. So we cloned a repository, we loaded all the images, we resized it, we created the model, we loaded all the checkpoints, and all we did is use the predictions to, give us this. So it doesn't take a lot of work to do this. But then, hey, here we made use of a concept called as relative key point displacement. There's another one which is called absolute coordinates, where we'll actually go on to do it in a slightly different way. Let me show you the output, and we can discuss the changes, right? In the code, you can see there's a pretty good difference. It says relative equal to false, and here we say relative equal to true whenever we're working on the prediction. So basically, that's the key point displacement that's working. And as I told you, it's going to take a minute or so to basically give us the output here. But as soon as it gives the output, what we're trying to do is with absolute coordinates, we're trying to get all the details from our video and then merge it on our final image as well, right? So here it's very different from what's going on above, right? So check out relative here and check out absolute here. Let me scroll a little bit more. Perfect. So check both of these out, right? So at the end of the day, President Trump is still the same, but there's some changes in President Putin. So what are the changes? You can see the eye movements are picked up from President Trump here, the mouth movement, the head shake, even the hair, to be honest, you can see that there's a bit of change in the hair as well. So in all of those details, it's pretty much the use of absolute coordinates. Now you might be wondering, why do we require absolute coordinates when relative key point displacement looks a bit more realistic, right? In this particular case, yes, but that's not all the cases. There might be cases where absolute coordinate looks very convincing, it looks very real, and that's what we're trying to do, right? So we're trying to adapt the movement from the original video, but we're going to place all of those details on the image that we have, and this is the result that we can drive out of it. And we have another parameter here that says adapt movement, that basically is telling the model to pick up the movement from our video and place it on the image as well. So now with this, right, you understand how one can go on to make use of deepfake. And if you were expecting probably thousands and thousands of lines of code to actually go on to do something as complex as this, well, check it out. It really isn't that complex, right? So we'll share you this particular Python Jupyter notebook so you guys can in fact check it out on your own, and you can work with as well. So coming to my final thoughts about deepfake with AI. Deepfake is pretty much trending, be it either with concerns, or be it with people starting to realize the extremely powerful application that you can drive out of deepfake. It's pretty trending. So if something is trending, the world has taught us multiple times that it would be really good if you guys can jump on it, learn it, and who knows, right? There's already a lot of jobs being created around deepfake, right? So when you think about it, those are pretty high paying jobs too. So you can have a career itself by working as an AI expert with autoencoders and GANs, and provide deepfake solutions as well. In the case of movie industry, I see this to be a very, very big application. And of course, we're talking about artificial intelligence, guys. We're talking about deep learning. So it's going to absolutely have a huge impact on the industry if things go well. And it's an ever growing domain, right? So there is no stopping artificial intelligence, at least for the next couple of years, because we realize how convenient it has made life for us, right? So you can use the power of computing. We have a lot of power right now, because think about quantum computing is on the edge now. Your phones are exponentially, right, probably a million times faster than the entire computer that landed humans on the moon. When you're thinking about it, AI has come a long way. It's gonna go pretty much the same way into the future as well.
So we hope this session was very informative for you all. If you have any comments, any suggestions, or any content requests as well, head to the comment section and do let us know. We'll be more than happy to help you out. On that note, I wish you well, and I'll see you on the next one.